Hello, and welcome back to the ARK of E podcast. My name is Noah.
And my name is Gavin.
And we're the Blanchard brothers. And this week, we're going to attempt to wrap our arms around the ungodly amount of television
Yes.
that has been unloaded across the streaming landscape.
Yeah.
Where to begin? I don't even know. I do know the last show that we kind of talked about with any sort of depth was The Last of Us. So I feel like we can move on from that. And we had already talked Copenhagen Cowboy earlier in the year.
Yes.
So yeah. What have you been on to since? What have we finished? What are we watching currently? What's coming up? It's a lot. And I'm sure you're watching some stuff I'm not watching and vice versa.
Yeah.
So we just thought it would be fun. Throw down our list. This is like a part one. We might do another one of these next week. I don't know. We'll probably revisit it because a lot of these things are in flux or like mid-season. But
let's go current. What do you got like
what
currently?
am I watching?
Yeah.
As of right now? Okay. Here are my current shows that are okay. Succession. They are 5 episodes deep. Killer. Incredible. Remains untouched. It's the best thing out there. Yellowjackets Season 2.
Haven't started.
It's been an interesting ride so far. That's all I'll say. Lucky Hank over on AMC Plus. That is the new Bob Odenkirk show that I feel like not a lot of people are sticking with. I feel like me and Mom are watching it. Like, that's it. I don't know.
Just because of Bob Odenkirk?
Because it's so, what I love about it, it's so low stakes. Like, it's so, and every element of it is just like not what you expect from television. It's almost like an anti-TV show, if that makes sense. And like all of the normal spots where you think, oh, this is going to be where the drama is going to come in. It's like, no. Very interesting show. I've been thoroughly enjoying it week to week. It's an adaptation of a book, so I don't know if it's like limited series, if they're going to try and stretch it out. I don't know what the deal is with that. Dave, Season 3. I'm an episode behind. The last one I saw was
Hearsay?
Hearsay, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll come back to that in a moment. Barry, Season 4. We're 3 episodes deep. And I'm watching Mrs. Davis, which just dropped its first 4 on Peacock. What do you want to talk about of those? Or what do you have that you are currently watching?
Dave.
Okay.
Barry.
Yes.
Perry Mason.
Okay.
Barry and Perry. You know, one started, the others ended. Right. As of Monday, I think, the last episode of Perry Mason. I guess it's not currently watching because it's over with. So I'll save that for what I did watch. Haven't started Yellowjackets. I need to.
What are you watching? That was the question.
Those two are the like serial ones that I'm going back to now. The Last Ship, I'm in the middle of that. I want to go back and watch all that. It's been out for forever. Finally finishing up now that it's on HBO Max.
Okay.
And that's it. I mean, all the ones that I normally would be, like, they threw me for a loop and they stopped out of nowhere. So.
How do you mean?
Well, like 1923, they cut into 2 parts and you're going to get it later. First part of Yellowstone 5, it's not available anywhere to stream. It's like they redid, like, you got to pay for it. It's like they redid their rights with who owns it to, like, who can get what. And apparently that's not coming back to the summertime either. Because, like, I read that McConaughey just signed on to do another, like, spinoff of it for television. Crazy.
Okay.
But, yeah, pretty much everything is, Bex and I both watched Yellowjackets separately, so we were like, okay, well, we'll watch that one together. But the problem is there's no Showtime app on Vizio, so you got to hit the Amazon Fire Stick, right?
Okay.
And it's just like I don't think about it. I'm just like, yeah, but then I got to turn the Vizio to Amazon. Then I got to use a different remote. So
I'm very confused. Apparently, Showtime is part of Paramount Plus now, but it's not. I don't know. I don't know if it's a separate thing. But yes, Paramount Plus with Showtime is a thing now because Paramount bought Showtime. So I don't know that Showtime as a network is going to exist in the same way, and it may be a complete just streaming entity. I don't know. And of course, HBO Max is now just Max, or about to be just Max. Just tell me where to watch the good shit, you know? That's all I'm saying. That's all we're trying to do here. Okay. So, our only crossover
was Dave and Barry.
Dave and Barry. Yeah. Okay, Dave. Again, I'm one episode behind.
Oh, yeah, you are.
I'm enjoying it, and I feel like I'm having the same reaction that I have to it every season, which is like, I'm enjoying it. I'm like, kind of like, okay, like we've been here, done that, and then it'll have these moments where I'm just like, that's why I fucking like love this show, dude. And to have one of them almost like in the first chunk of the series, basically, but episode 3 with the Rick Ross of it all.
Yes.
When Gaeta finally has his moment where he gets to step in at the end, I'm like, why am I crying right now?
I know.
Why am I like so emotional on his behalf or whatever? But that Gaeta is the secret sauce of that show. He's the heart and soul of it. And anytime they like just give you a little bit with that character, I'm like, it's kind of one of those things where I'm like, can we just fucking get rid of Little Dicky and just take all of the supporting crew? I was like, these are the people, and like it's semi by design, but I'm like, fuck it, like Dave sucks. Like he sucks. I wouldn't want to hang out with him in real life.
Right.
I want to hang out with all of his friends. I'd want to be in his position.
Right.
But Dave sucks. Like he's fucking neurotic as hell. He's so narcissistic. He's just like, he's so full of himself, and you keep hoping that like, oh, maybe he'll learn, or maybe he'll get a little bit better, and he like never really does, and it's fine. But then you have Gaeta, who when you have those little moments, it just it kills me, dude. I was so happy for him.
So the other
for a fictional character that I'm just like, I'm in tears.
I mean, that's him.
But that's so no. But I'm saying, in the context of this show,
right? Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. It's like, but yes, that is him.
Yeah, no, just like you're just talking about like misdirection and stuff. Like the episode where he gets up, like it's Gaeta's night. You know, he's going to perform. When they cut to him afterwards, after LD came up on stage, I was like, oh, here we go. Gaeta's like not talking to him. He's kind of like run down. Are we going to have this moment of like, I'm trying to do my thing. Like, I didn't really want you to like jump up there.
Basically,
but it
like,
completely turns around. It's like, you just got sucked. Totally, bro. Sloppy toppy, bro. Dude, it's like, I'm going to go home. I'm not even hanging out tonight. I got sucked, and I'm going to go back on the tour bus and go to
dude,
sleep.
and the dynamic of that weird Texas house party, I was just like, dude, that felt so real, where I was just like, I've been in those rooms where you're just like, oh yeah, we were told this was gonna be like a bigger thing than it actually is, and it's actually just like 6 people, and I don't really know anybody here, and like the vibe is just not right.
Right.
So well done. When he first starts talking to the big guy on the couch or whatever, I was like, dude, whoever that actor is, I was like, that is one of the most brilliant line delivery. I can't even replicate it, but the like just it was the best like drunk fucked up acting I've seen in a long time. It was so good.
Yes.
So good. Yeah, but I'm saying like the laughs are still 100% there, and the like the more serious vibes that they've kind of like moved more and more into in season 2, they're able to hit those notes as well. I need to catch up. I know Allie shows back up in this most recent one.
This one's so good, dude. Like, I just
4.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
because 3 up until this point was the highlight for me, obviously, and the Killer Mike cameo, which we didn't mention, but like, that was great.
I said it at the first episode. I was like, if fucking Killer Mike doesn't show up in this season somewhere,
I already kind of had it spoiled for me that he was going to be in this one. I didn't know when, and I was happy
because
that it was
like
early.
you didn't watch Ozark,
no.
So in the last season, when Ruthie, the character, like she goes into Chicago for some reason, I'm not gonna give it away. She's listening to music, and Killer Mike is there, and he's just himself. Like she doesn't like acknowledge him as Killer Mike, but he's just at the table with other friends of his, and he asks her like, "What are you listening to?" And she's telling him like, "I'm listening to whoever's album," and they have this little bitty conversation about like what maybe the artist was thinking whenever they were writing these tunes, and like how this it came across in the rap. And I'm like, that's subtly brilliant. How'd they get fucking Killer Mike to just come in and sit down and do that? Does he know somebody? Is he a big Bateman fan? Like, what is it? But it works perfectly. But he's never acknowledged as like, that's Killer Mike. So the minute that they're like, I'm on a Twitter beef, I'm on like a Twitter thing with Killer Mike. He says, I don't know about this person. Like I'm not good for the black community. Like that. The fact that that's the first place that he goes.
I don't know this man.
Yeah. But then when you're like, of course it's so fucking perfect because at the end I'm like, in my head I'm like, Killer Mike just doesn't know who he is. Like, it's not that he doesn't know if he's good for black people. So when he turns like, oh, I just meant that as I don't know who you are. I'm not familiar with you. And the whole time when he's talking to other people about it, he's like, oh, he's one of them smart brothers. Like, oh, he knows stuff. He's smart and stuff like that. I'm like, yes, he is. He's probably one of the fucking, like, he's about the movement. He's about, I'm like, fucking, yes, that is Killer Mike all day long. Yeah. Like, it's so fucking good.
Yeah. Great
but
stuff.
This one, dude, definitely, I mean, and you got to help me. If you can figure it out, tell me. If you can do research. When you watch the newest one, whatever's playing in the credits, can you please find me what it is, what song it is? Honestly, it's probably something one of the music guys just made up. It's a bunch of gibberish stuff. But like it sounds beautiful to me. I love that kind of shit. I don't know what it is. I don't know how to describe it. I can't tell you it without you watching the episode.
The credit song of 4. I'll keep an ear out.
And see if you can tell, because I tried to Shazam it, and Shazam couldn't come up with anything. And then I tried looking it up, and it only lists the songs that are like prominent. So it's probably just a weird piece of background music, you know? Just the same as like, there's just weird piece of music in Surf Ninjas I've always wanted to figure out what it is. It's like a guitar thing when they're all getting ready and whatnot. All that. It's just something fucking one of the producers made it, never made it as a track. I'm just like, can I just get that? Like, and I'm just going to I'd have to burn it out of like whatever digital copy.
Just got to rip it, bro.
Rip it, yeah. But even in it's something like a 30-second clip. I was hoping there was like a whole song. Yeah, that's true. It's sloop it. Yeah, Mr. Producer over here. Yeah, so, yeah, Dave, just, kind of kicking off, but,
We'll check back in.
Yeah.
Barry.
Only seen the first 2.
Okay.
I didn't watch this weekend yet.
I don't really know how much we want to say then until you get to 3. But at least you have the end point of 2 where you kind of know where things are headed story-wise. But yeah, pretty dark, pretty heavy, but still very, very funny.
I remember,
funny.
And that's the thing, because like we watched it, and I'm here dying, and Becky's like, "What?" And I'm like, "Do you not just get the like, And like I feel bad because sometimes I'm like I'm laughing at stuff that like only I get, and I have to explain to her. I'm like, you probably shouldn't be laughing. Like this is not a moment for the average viewer to laugh. This is a moment for someone like me who like spent this time. Like was forced for 4 years, not forced. I paid for it. I got it. I earned it myself. But for 4 years, like broke all this kind of stuff down and thought about it. This is for the people who like let their minds wander and wander and wander out so far that they could go down a rabbit hole and go insane. But the fact that they know they could do that means they don't do it because they don't want it. They know what they're capable of. This moment is for someone like me, and that's why I'm laughing hysterically as I am. The comedy of it all, like getting them to meet at Dave and Buster's. It's like who could not like that? That's like, brilliant.
That 360 shot
and Hank running back around. I'm dying over here. She's like, "What?" I was like, "Do you not see how funny that is?"
That's the kind. I mean, that's the kind of shit where I'm like, I'm sitting there like, oh, dude, like the shit he's pulling off directorially this season, like. Look, he's just taking like a regular dialogue scene and like she's just showing off basically. And then the fact that he has NoHo Hank like comment on the shot within the shot, but also within the world of the show, or I'm just like, that's where I'm just like, this shit's just operating on like, it's on another level, dude. Oh God, I'm enjoying it so much. You have to see 3. There's a huge cameo. I'm not going to spoil it. Okay. It's within the first 5 minutes. I expect a text when you see it because it's one of the funniest fucking things I've ever seen. Oh.
I did love the.
We got a little feedback in there, but I think we're good. I think we're running solid. But anyways, it is Very, very funny. I'm sure you'll text me when you see it.
Oh, I definitely.
And oh my God. 3 is probably the funniest the show has been this season so far. And also, yeah, definitely ups the stakes in some interesting ways.
Well, like, I love the whole, like, but hey, I'm sure you did a bad thing, but you're not really a bad guy. And he's like, if I saw you in the street, I'd fucking kill you. I'd fucking kill your family and all this. And the guy just breaks out his nightstand. I'm like, like, I remember them saying, like, yeah, 3 gets a little dark, but then everything past that, it's fucking dark, but it's still funny. And I was like, this is fucking dark. Like, this is like, and then, like, just any scene Henry Winkler is in this show, how do you not, like, give him every fucking, like, just the...
Oh, I forgot. Yeah, episode 2 is the one-man show, right?
Yeah.
God.
I'm going to tell it to you the only way I know how.
I can't possibly stand any more attention, so I'm going to do this the only way. Dude, the funniest thing to me in all of that, other than him doing Barry's voice, which is so funny. But no, when he... Love seeing Patrick Fischler, by the way. Just like one of my favorite dudes.
Oh yeah, that's the dude. I'm like, in my head, I'm like, oh, that's the guy that's freaked out about the fucking crazy
thing behind Winkies.
The thing behind Winkies. Yeah.
He's also the chock full of nuts guy, the Utz are better than nuts guy in Mad Men season 1.
Yeah.
Jimmy Barrett, among many, many other awesome roles.
Chock full of nuts is Escape from New York.
Yes, that's
Kurt Russell's wife. Yeah.
But yes, Utz are better than nuts. It's an Utz potato chip ad. Take it from a nut. Utz are better than nuts, because he's an insult comic, and Don fucks his wife, and he finds out about it, and
hangs himself.
No, it's just one of the first times that Don is like confronted with like, hey, I know you fucked my wife. Like, I'm upset about that, and I'm a client, by the way. How are you gonna deal with this? It's great.
Maybe I need to do that. Maybe I finally take the plunge and watch all of Mad Men.
Fucking incredible show. You should really do it. You should do it.
Okay.
The only old school thing I'm rewatching right now, Smart Guy. Guess what? Holds up impeccably well. What a great fucking show.
Yeah.
Okay.
We talk about it at work all the time.
I don't want to get lost though. Sorry. Patrick Fischler coming in afterwards, after he's done. And they come back to Henry Winkler. He's like, he's sweating. He's got a water bottle.
I got more than I bargained for with that. Like, like, he's a heavyweight boxer.
Oh my God, dude. It's like, oh God, I was dying. He's so fucking funny.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, and then fucking Stephen Root's over here. Like,
you'll wear a wire? Sure. the next scene
literally just that is literally Fuchs in a nutshell. Is just like whatever he's thinking is just immediate, like just constant left and left turns to like put him in a circle, but it all like he just doesn't realize he's going in a circle. Oh, I love it so much. You have to see 3, and we will talk about it and more episodes next time we check back in on Barry. You're not a Succession guy.
Never seen an episode.
I mean, I think maybe this is like, maybe you don't jump in on Mad Men. Maybe you watch Succession, dude. I mean, there's people on it that you would like. It's just it's the best writing. I take it back. Fucking funny.
Before we had Max, we had another HBO thing, right? Maybe it wasn't us, but I remember Bex watching an episode where there's like a car crash at like an English home or something like that. And it was like, it kind of fucked something, or it was like a big taboo thing. And I remember as soon as I saw that, I was like, there's like a fucking movie about the Kennedys that this happened to, right? Like, this happened to Teddy or one of the other Kennedy boys, like, got in a car wreck with a girl. And then I started thinking, and in my mind going more goes, I was like, and didn't Robert Wagner, like, he killed Natalie Wood, right? Like, that's where my mind goes for whatever reason. And so, like, but that is a thing, right? That's that show. Like, somebody has a car crash that winds up killing someone that's part of the family early on, like season 1 or 2. They're at like a British state or something.
Something to that effect.
Yeah. Okay. So
does happen.
But that's that show. Yeah. So I'm making sure it was Succession she was watching. I feel like that's what it was. But that's most I've seen.
Incredible show.
Okay, maybe I'll start that after I finish the last ship.
It's only going to be like fourth and final season is airing right now.
Uh-huh.
It's only going to be a grand total of 39 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
You could very easily catch up. It's totally doable.
Oh, I could probably do it. Yeah.
It's incredible. You should. I'd really like you to entice you. Your boy, the Viking. Big part of the final season.
The Viking.
Skarsgård.
Oh, that's not my boy. That's Beck's boy. That's her tall drink of water. I appreciate Sarsgaard, but if I'm gonna go Viking guy, I'm gonna go Raised by Wolves. What's his face?
Travis Fimmel.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah.
But yeah, Succession is just, it's top notch, operating at like I literally already put it. I keep my fluid ranking of like, I would usually wait until I finish a show to rank it, but I currently have it in my number one slot simply because of the third episode of this season, which is just one of those instant all-timers where you're like, that's just one of the best hours of television ever, like instant top 10 on any list. So it's on a different playing field right now. Highly recommend it. Obviously, if you're not watching it, it's a great time to catch up. Like I said, Lucky Hank, if you have AMC Plus or if you have regular cable, I would check it out. Odenkirk's killing it. It's, again, a very low-key show with very low stakes, but I kind of like that juxtaposed with a lot of the other things that I've been watching lately. It's a nice change of pace. And Mrs. Davis, do you know anything about this one?
Oh, nothing more than what you told me the other day when we were talking.
I can't remember how much detail I gave you, but for our listeners,
something like she's a.
If there is anybody in fact listening,
who is the lady again? Where do we know her from?
It's Betty Gilpin. She was on Glow, the wrestling show on Netflix, and she was also the lead in The Hunt.
She's the friend.
What's that?
She's the friend with the baby that old girl sleeps with her husband or whatever.
In
Glow.
I didn't watch Glow.
She's the other female lead in Glow?
I believe so. It's her and
Dave Franco's wife.
That's terrible. I watched her on so many seasons of Mad Men. Oh my God. Alison Brie. Excuse me. That's Alison Brie. That's not Dave Franco's wife.
I didn't know her name until you said. I know who Alison
Dave
Brie is.
Franco is Alison Brie's husband. If anything.
That's it.
Let's be real here.
What's Alison's husband's? Dave. Yeah, Alison's husband, Dave.
Yes. But yeah, Alison Brie and Betty Gilpin, I believe, were the two leads. I have not watched Glow. Regrettably, because I love Marin. I like female wrestling.
He's great. I
like those actresses.
I haven't seen him in the Aretha Franklin thing, but there's something else he was doing that I want.
Have you watched Sword of Trust yet?
No, I haven't. Maybe I'm not emotionally ready. I literally
feel like a broken record. If there's one thing I've harped on this podcast
what year was it
in the last year.
When did it come out?
2018, I think. Oh, okay. 2019.
Well, I mean, you have a freebie for the Oscars, so just think about it.
Okay.
Yeah. Just, throwing it out there.
It's more like it would sustain maybe like 10 to 15 minutes of conversation, not a whole episode, but just like fucking watch it. It's a great movie. Please.
Okay. That's weird.
And if you think it's worth a whole... I'm just saying it's not like a... It's a short film. There's not a literal short film. It's not a lengthy film. Uh-huh. It's very dialogue driven and not very much happens in it. So it would just... I don't know that we could do a whole episode.
Okay.
But maybe we could. You watch it. You tell me.
Okay. I might have a lot to say about it. Who knows?
Maybe you're like, dude, no.
Okay, so
really spoke to
you
me.
said broken record, but like, are you putting it ahead of Succession, or like watch Succession and then watch Sword of Truth?
Sword of Trust.
Truth.
Sword of Trust you could watch like any time, but Succession, I think, should be top priority.
Okay.
Just watch the pilot tonight when you get home.
I might watch it on the way home.
Don't do that.
Don't watch and drive. Only stream in the confines of your own home. Unless you have a driver.
Oh my God, what was Brendan watching? That used to be a thing where he would just be driving and like watching movies or whatever. But there was something at some point that was like so visually stunning. I was like, dude, I'm fucking angry at you. Like, what are you doing?
Right.
I was like, stop doing that right now. What are you doing? It might have been like Fury Road or some shit.
Probably.
Mrs. Davis.
Yes.
Okay. It's on Peacock.
Uh-huh.
Thank you for the login.
She's a nun.
Betty Gilpin's a nun on a quest for the Holy Grail. It's great. I've only watched 2 episodes. I fucking love it, dude. It's like, it's all the things we love about the Lindelof sensibility. I'm not as familiar with the co-creator on this, but I believe she worked on either Watchmen or she's big credits on another like network show possibly. Not sure there. It's just, it's one of those shows that knows you've seen a bunch of fucking shows. Like in the same tone that he operated in Watchmen and the more meta textual elements of The Leftovers is all there, but it's like it's cranked up and it's way more with a comedic bent. I feel like for people who found The Leftovers like punishing and alienating, this like has weirdly some of those elements, very different, but some of those elements without the like, there are heavy things going on in the show, but it is like light as a feather and always moving, and it kind of throws you into the deep end, but in a good way. And it doesn't, so far it doesn't feel like a bullshit mystery boxy show, because again, I trust at this point that Lindelof has learned his lesson, because he proved it with The Leftovers and he proved it further with Watchmen, where it's like, no, I'm going to do good setup and payoffs. I'm not going to string you along. I'm not going to do a bunch of like long-winded bullshit. And yeah, it's like, I'm a little like, there's a lot going on. I don't know about all this, but it's so entertaining. It's very, very funny. It's smart. The cast is incredible. David Arquette shows up in the 2nd episode. Very nice to see him get a little something to chew on. Supporting cast is great. Just check it out, dude. It's good stuff. I'm very excited to see where it goes. The first 4 are available now, and I believe 4 more coming. I don't know if they're going to split them up week to week or how they're doing that. You have your finger up like you want to ask a question.
I've got one more that I'm watching I forgot about, because I purposely waited to save up some episodes. It's Ted Lasso Season 3. Okay. Supposedly the last season.
It is the last season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've watched up to like 4. I have a couple banked, and I've just decided I'm going to wait until it's like penultimate, and then we're going to watch the finale together kind of thing. But like I've tried to get Dad to watch it. I've told, and I didn't do it this weekend. I meant to. I told him the next time I was down, I was going to plug in my Apple ID
set them up
so they can watch it, because I think he seems like he would love it. He's asked me about it a bunch of times. I think he would appreciate it, even though he's not like, because I appreciate it because like there is a connection and a background to like the UK and England that we have, and sort of like the films and the stuff that we appreciate, and like we don't necessarily, maybe we don't know a lot about like their cinema and their history and what was going on. And like I couldn't tell you what they were doing in the 60s when the French were doing the New Wave thing, but I could tell you what they were doing in the 80s and the 90s, and mainly in the 2000s and aughts up, what their movies look like, what they're talking about, what they're doing to an extent, you know. And of course I vaguely know about like soccer, but I feel like you don't have to like football or soccer or whatever to like this show. I think Sudeikis brings you in as like a fish out of water type deal, but there's enough comedy with other people that like, if you understand British society and what things are, it's funnier. But if you don't, it's still funny. Like there's a bit this season where like everybody know who one of the guys that's a writer on the show plays a character of like an old footballer who's like done playing, but he's still with the team, and he's been known for being like gruff and just like an asshole and whatnot, like a real brawler, quote unquote. And there's a scene with somebody in the street asking like, "Hey, are you Roy Kent?" And you just hear, "Fuck off, that is Roy Kent," you know, like just like shit like that. Like that's funny. But if you get the idea of like what that character is, how he is, where he exists in that hierarchy of like that society, whatever, it's all the more funnier to you. But if you're just a layman, you're like, haha, that's funny. You know, so it's on and operates on different levels. And like, I think one of my favorite lines is just out of the blue this season. He's like, "Why is it fucking called Hoosiers?" Like, you don't get, like, Dad would get that. Dad would love that. But like, how many other people thought that was a hilarious line like I did? I obviously have the baked in history of Hoosiers, you know?
Yeah.
But like, who else does? So, you know, and yeah. But I'm watching that.
I feel, I mean, it's not really true. Part of it is I haven't had Apple TV activate, but in a while. But even when I did, I still didn't make time to watch it. I think partly because it is that one show. There's always that one show where when every fucking person that you know is telling you, "Oh, you gotta watch Ted Lasso," you kind of are just like, "Fuck Ted Lasso, dude."
Right.
I'll get to it when I want to. And that has it is the one show that literally, yeah, everybody asked me, like, "Oh, do you watch Ted Lasso?" I'm like, no, I haven't watched it.
I can't wait.
And so at this point, it's kind of like I just want to keep the streak unbroken, and then secretly, like, when all 3 seasons are out, binge it all, and then continue to maintain everyone. Never fucking watched it. Just keep it to myself. You'll
Right.
never fucking know. We'll never have an in-depth conversation. Every time you say a joke from it, I'll just be like, "Oh yeah, sounds." It's good. I should check
Down
it out
dog,
sometime.
okay, yep.
And on the inside, I'll be like, "I loved that. It was great." But I can't admit it to myself or
Right.
anybody at this point.
Much less my own brother. But I did finish. You don't have any more you're currently watching, right? Because there's a few I've got.
No, I was gonna say I can transition into
Well, no,
basically.
this one doesn't count. I mentioned it, but it doesn't count because it's not new. I'm just catching up on it again. But the last ship that ran on TNT, I mentioned that. I'm trying to get mom and dad on board with it because it's like parts of The Last of Us, parts of like, you know, the Navy, because, you know, dad's connection to the Navy. And it's just, I don't know. I remember watching the first season and then wanting to go back. Like, I missed the second season. And so the fact that they got 4, which it's a pretty big deal to do on a network like that, even though it's only 13 a piece each season. But like, even being able to do 4 on like a TNT is, you know,
That
it's
have
not bad.
Ridley's name on it or Michael Bay?
Michael Bay.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna say that's what did it in the same way that Falling Skies got to have like 4 or 5 seasons,
Right.
And like a TV movie because it was a Spielberg thing.
Yeah, and see, that's what I'm hoping is like, because I haven't watched it. I'm on 4, and I'm getting into this phase of like, is it going to be Friday Night Lights where I just don't watch the last season so I don't have to like be rid of it so I can always have it to hold on to? But like literally for like 2 weeks, I've been like on this journey of like Virus, Nathan James, what are we doing? Eric Dane, all these other people that keep running through here. I'm like, oh, you were in this, you were in that. And like, do I want to get out of that headspace? And so far, I mean, I haven't. I've really been crunching through them. So like, I'm debating, should I just stop cold turkey and go check out Succession, or should I just finish it and then catch Succession before it's done? That's where I'm at now with that. But really, I only have like 3. I think I could say that I technically finished. Well, 4 if you want to count Beef. So
Beef, you said?
yeah, watched it
watched
all in
Beef.
2 days.
Okay.
Amazing.
I spaced it out, basically like 1 a night for 10 days. Yeah.
Literally Saturday, Sunday. It was so good.
One of the best shows of the year so
Yeah.
far.
Hands down.
Faux show. I mean, people have been, obviously Stephen Yeun's been having a moment for quite a while now, but I would just encourage people, go watch Burning if you haven't seen Burning, and I'll encourage you once again. I think Mom started it, never quite finished it, or she was having some sort of streaming issue, I'm not sure.
Probably before she got her TV.
I had always enjoyed him, but that was the movie, 2018, I believe, that I just was like, this is an all-timer. This is like one of the best screen performances I've seen, period. Just in the time I've been alive watching movies, of the movies I've seen, this is about as good as it gets. And, yeah, and basically he's been like, I mean, he was beforehand, but it just solidified it. He's like, wherever you want to go, dude, whatever you're doing, I'm going to watch it. And then Ali Wong was kind of the revelation for me, just because like I have a vague familiarity with her stand-up, but I haven't even seen all of it. And it's like,
Yeah.
I like her enough as a personality, but like I didn't know, I didn't know the depths. I didn't know if she had all that in her. And the overall just like tone and vibe of the show, I just like, I thought it was just something really
Oh, it's
special.
fucking perfect.
And
I thought it was great.
they better not make any more of it. I guess is my other thing is like I've heard a couple people have asked me like, "Oh, you think they're gonna do season 2 of that?" I was like, "What? Why? What the fuck would it be? I don't. I don't understand." But yeah,
maybe that's it. That's our European sensibilities. Like
film
and media studies have given us a European sensibility when it comes to ending things.
Okay, I don't know
as they should be.
I don't. Maybe that's the perfect seller on why you should make Succession your thing. It's a satire of American capitalism.
Oh yeah,
by a Brit. It's Jesse Armstrong who worked on oh my god, Peep Show, very famous UK comedy. He also worked on what was it? In the Loop is the movie, but I forget. The Armando Iannucci Show. He's been on a bunch of shit. He's a British comedy writer, essentially, bringing that sensibility to like a huge budgeted, like, you know, HBO drama.
Okay, yeah, I could see it. No,
but also I'm saying bringing the sensibility of like, there's probably a world where everybody wanted that show because of how successful it is and how like popular it is in general, with critics and audiences, for it to go on for like forever. But they literally announced like, here's the date for season 4, and then quietly, like a week later, they were like, by the way, that's the last one. Like, and I think people were like, what the fuck? And I was like, no, dude, I'm like so much more excited to watch this. And the pace that they have approached this final season with, I'm like, yeah, this is that European sensibility where it's like, we're not being precious about it, and it's like things should have an end point. And like,
if you want to get technical, we can say European sensibility. America is
a distinctly British television sensibility.
Yeah,
the short series.
No, not even that. That's just like, people want more. They want more. They want more. We are the fattest, most obese country on the fucking planet. We would have more until we died.
Getting really real.
No, seriously,
40-minute mark.
No, I'm just saying. We would die.
Lay it on them.
We would die eating if we could. Okay? Do you know what the French do? They eat. They have a little bit of, maybe a rest time, maybe some dessert, and they're done. The British, they have a little tea in the afternoon. They eat and they go to bed. And they don't run their...
because their food's so fucking gross. Right. They're like, I gotta get away from this.
Yeah. And the fucking tea is ridiculous, which is a bit in Ted Lasso. If you ever watch it, you'll love it, but never tell anybody. We got it.
I will call you Brits out on that. The worst cuisine. You have the worst cuisine in the world.
Yeah. Bangers and mash. What the fuck is that? Fish and chips? What the fuck is that shit? But my point being is like, that's me, and maybe that's why they don't eat a lot of it. Those things are
pretty good.
Yeah,
but in general.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. Sucks. We would eat as much as we could and want more, and then we would die. And that translates up the ladder to our entertainment and how we want it. I want so much of this that I get sick of it, and then I would die and hate it. Right. So secretly, while I do rage against like, you give me 3 episodes of The Boys and I gotta wait every week. Yeah, you should. Why? Because you know me, Amazon. You know I'm gonna be. It took me 2 days. It could have taken me a day to finish Beef, but I had to sleep, so I slept, and then I finished Beef. You see what I'm saying?
You want to talk about the show that I finished in a day?
What's that?
In an afternoon?
What?
Did you watch Swarm? Because I never got a text.
Swarm? On what?
Amazon Prime.
What's it about?
It's the first post-Atlanta show from Donald Glover and Janine Neighbors. Limited series. 7 episodes. I texted you about it. Brother, if you're not watching Swarm, get on it. That means go look up what the thing Swarm is that my brother's talking about and then watch it.
Watch that over Succession?
You make your own fucking choices.
Okay, I'm just...
Okay, so Swarm...
I need the info sometimes.
It's Donald Glover and Janine Neighbors. She worked on Atlanta as well. She's the main creative force on this one, but he is a producer as part of his overall deal with Amazon. Stars Dominique Fishback, who you would know from Judas and the Black Messiah. She's Fred Hampton's wife.
Yeah, I know.
She was also in Power. Or no, not Power. Yeah, was it called Power? The Jamie Foxx, Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Yeah.
Was it just
Power Project.
Project Power.
Yeah, something. Yeah.
She was the female lead in
Right.
that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
She's also on The Deuce. I don't know if you ever watched The Deuce. Go back and watch The Deuce. Go back and watch The Wire. Yeah, Sopranos, maybe.
Hey, I started The Wire.
Mad Men.
I started The
Mad
Wire.
Men. Okay. Anyways,
What about
basically, she is a in the fictional world of the show. But just to boil it down for you, sorry, she's a Beyonce stan who just takes it way too far. But in the world of the show, it's like a fictional Beyonce figure. It's not actually Beyonce. But it's essentially like, what if a member of the Bay Hive was maybe a killer of some sort?
She's a fan of her?
Yes.
I thought you said she's a Beyonce stan. I didn't.
Stan, yeah. I'm trying to talk like the kids, bro.
Okay. So she's a fan of the fictional Beyonce-like character in the film or the show.
Yes.
And it's like, what if she would kill
For her.
for her? Like if somebody talks shit, she would kill.
Yeah.
But she's not going to go like Yolanda Saldana and like kill her.
No.
She's not going to pull a Selena thing, right? Like she loves her too much to do that.
Right.
Okay.
But is like obsessed with her. It's about toxic fandom, parasocial relationships.
And the other one's
that
a
sort of thing.
satire of American politics. Is that what you're saying? Greed and all that? I think I'm going to go with that one first.
Okay.
Because that shit scares me.
Okay.
Like somebody who, like, you say the wrong thing anywhere nowadays, they're going to cancel you. But if you say the wrong thing and you get murdered, like, come on, dude. That's creepy. That's entertainment. I mean, like, yeah.
Wait, you said you are going to watch Swarm first?
Oh, I don't know.
Sorry. It's only 7 episodes, about half hour pop.
Okay, I can watch
I finished it in an afternoon. It's basically a 3.5 hour movie.
Right.
It looks incredible. It's incredibly, dude. Her performance. I mean, start to finish, that would be my best actress at the Emmys for limited series, like hands down right now. Mm-hmm. It's got a lot in there. It was definitely. It hit. It had its little moment. There was a lot of think pieces. There's some. I mean, as you would expect from the creatives involved, there's some wild shit in there. But it's a journey, man. It was a good time. I mean, it's fucking wild. It's not for everybody. Did you ever watch Titan or Titan?
Oh, yeah.
You did watch it?
We had this whole discussion. You were so happy that I watched it.
Did we have like a whole?
We talked about it, like the fuck in the car, and like how bad shit it was, and like
I don't remember that conversation.
Maybe I know I texted you that I watched it, and you were like, "Oh my god, my brother finally watched Titan," and then that was it. Maybe we didn't talk about it. I think maybe we talked about it out back before the show.
I don't know if we ever talked about it on mic. Doesn't really matter. We don't have to right now. But I will use that as a selling point because that's how I've been describing it to people who I can actually use it as a reference point.
Okay.
Swarm is like a black American Southern Gothic version of Titan.
With no cars.
If that sounds... Yes, without the car
fucking. Okay. You got to spell it out for
without
some
the car fucking.
You got to spell it out for some of us.
Yeah. But that's the vibe. If I had to compare it to anything tonally.
Okay.
Yeah, like I said, you kill it in an afternoon.
Yeah.
Mando?
Yep.
How'd we feel?
Good, as always. Never bad.
God, dude.
What?
You never... Mr. Positivity, you know...
Inherently, Noah. Otherwise, it's just going to be crippling depression and sadness. Listen, I appreciate it, and
Can we acknowledge the weakest of the three?
This series is this season's the weakest of the three.
Yes.
Weakest of the four. I count Boba Fett as basically a third season of it. I get it; it's its own limited thing, but that did a lot and set up a lot for this season.
Okay, but with that in context, you would put this at the bottom as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not that great.
You just said great as always.
Yeah, it was. I mean, if I'm comparing it to things that have already come out, I didn't have the feels the way I had here. Yes, Grogu's adorable. Yes, they put him in IG-12's body. Yes, you have all this stuff. Yes, you're building just a little bit more of this world than I maybe want to know about. If you're going to set this up as like, I don't have to be with, if you make it the Mandalorians, and I can see other Mandalorian stories, and that's nice that you set it up. He's going to be a bounty hunter for the New Republic. Okay, then next season, if you have one, take me 20 years in the future. Take me during the time that your new movies are set, or the new ones that you have coming out that you announced a couple weeks ago. Give me a grown-up Grogu, Din Grogu, whatever you want to call him. Don't stay. The only problem I felt with this, which I didn't feel like I should say is a problem because I might get canceled, is the staying of Grogu, keeping him that small and like keeping it going, because I feel like you're just going back to like he's cute and adorable and I love it and I would want 10 seasons of it, but I need to see more growth.
I don't know if this is the episode. Maybe it is. You've said it like twice now. Like, do we have to have the cancel culture conversation right now?
No. I'm just it's a ever present thought in the back of my mind.
It really is.
Yeah. Okay. I don't think a lot of people listen.
Do you have some like shit in your closet that I need to know about? That
yeah,
needs
definitely.
To, like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Gavin will no longer be part of the network, frankly, and appreciate your time. Kindly fuck off. Seriously, more on that later though. But yeah, cancel culture does not exist. I just want to put that out there. So I couldn't tell how serious you were being.
Oh.
But like it doesn't exist. So I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
What do you mean it doesn't exist with us? Because like,
well, it definitely doesn't exist for us. But like it also just like fundamentally like does not exist. Like I don't know what you mean when you say that.
I don't know.
When you're scared of getting canceled or like they'll cancel you. I don't
Are you
know
saying
what
we
you
have to
mean.
start to be canceled? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm literally saying it does not exist in the way that I think you're saying that it exists.
I just don't want people to be mad at us on the internet. But again, I don't think enough people listen, so it's really not that big a deal.
Okay.
I'm saying it in jest and joking. I really could care less what anybody says or thinks. I have like 2 people who give me feedback on this in real life. Like they actually.
I was just genuinely curious if you were one of those people who's like, oh, I can't say. I would be talking so much shit about the Jews and black people, but
Speaking of Jews,
if it weren't for the goddamn PC culture, I would just be free flowing with all my racist, bigoted shit. I'm like really?
Yeah.
You feel like you can't talk anymore? Like, what?
No, I'm certain I can't. I'm just afraid of No, I'm afraid of like, it's not so much that. It's like, I'm afraid in trying to be accommodating to everyone, someone's not going to feel accommodated enough to, and it's going to be a problem. It's like, yes, you have all of these different types of kale available, but you don't have the type of kale that I want. So now your store's getting a fucking 1, and no one's ever going to get kale from here anymore. You see what I'm saying? That's the shit I'm upset about, because that bothers me, because it's like I'm accepting all kale. I'll take everybody's kale, and I love all the kale. As much as I don't really appreciate kale, because like it's not like that's probably a terrible food reference, but regardless.
Okay.
I'm all about everybody having a seat at the table.
Land the plane. Put the vegetables in the cart.
Right, yeah.
Okay.
Everybody can have a seat at the table. Black, white, Mexican, Cuban, Asians, all of them could be Mandalorians. They can take their helmets on. They can take their helmets off. Whatever they want to do. Okay? But when one little tiny one who just like, well, my tribe of Mandalorians isn't represented at this table at all. So now, fuck all y'all, I'm doing my own thing. Then Mandalore's going to be divided.
Okay.
And how are we going to get back to like the glory of like, of Mandalore? How are we going to do it?
Okay. Do you watch the animated series? Like, are you a Rebels guy?
No.
Clone Wars? Okay. See, me neither. So
I did watch like the first episode of The Bad Batch.
Okay.
Because I just like that title.
All this shit in this season, I understand has a lot more weight or just a lot more baseline interest level from people who have context for these characters. My biggest issue, I guess, is like I feel like we're starting to get into that territory where I feel a little alienated by not being like a 100% diehard. And I say that where I'm just like, go ahead, what?
I'm wondering what
you're
what
looking
would
at me
I
quizzically.
what would I have missed from somewhere else that I wasn't aware of here? I mean, I feel like I remember everything that happened from season 2.
Oh no. I mean that in the context with like, let's just take Bo-Katan as a character.
Mm-hmm.
Why should I care about her? Why is she cool? Why do I give a shit? The Mandalorian, for me personally, other than like she allied with him at the end of season 2, she was part of the crew. Like, I get all that, but I feel like some of it is relying on you to bring to the table, like, oh well, I've been on all these adventures with Bo-Katan and her crew and like those people from.
Is there something out there with her?
Yeah, she's all over the Clone Wars series.
I have no idea.
Again, see all this stuff where I'm like, but for me, and maybe you're not feeling it, but I'm just like, they all of a sudden kind of are bringing her to the forefront in this. And I feel like if you're a fan of the series or this character, you're sitting there going, what are you, you're like laughing at me.
Oh, women Mandalorians can't come to the front? They can't have a place at the table?
See?
Sorry,
I have no fear of getting canceled, Gavin. I am fucking bulletproof. So, yeah.
No, I get what you're saying. But that's the thing. That's what goes to like...
Let me finish the thought. Sorry, let me finish the thought. All I'm saying is I don't feel like they're doing the ground. I'm using her as a highlight point, but like there's other characters within the season that, as I understand it, because I listen to peripheral stuff and I listen to podcasts that recap it, and I'm like, oh, you guys were like flipping out because that's a villain who was in like Rebels, a show that I've never watched. And so for you, you're like, holy shit, I got to see him in live action. Like, that's so cool. And I'm like, that's great. That's probably adding an extra element for you. So you got, cool. But like the episode for me, I was just like, I was just a fucking dude who showed up. Like, I have no context for him. And so I just feel like there's been a little bit of those moments. The broadening of, we're going to bring together Mandalore. We're bringing, like, it kind of feels like Din Djarin and Grogu take a little bit of a back seat for parts of the season.
Which
literally episode. See, for me,
you want the lone wolf and cub didn't
exactly.
Go
I'm kind of like, that's not what I loved about this show was Adventure of the Week in the Star Wars galaxy, fun cameos, like a little bit of an overarching story, some like kind of big overall questions about like, wonder where Grogu came from. Wonder if we'll ever find out like what the fuck are Yoda's people? I have no idea. Maybe we'll get there, but I didn't need anything. And now I feel like they're feeling the need to like, okay, well, we've got to figure out how this fits in and gets us to, the New Republic and all of that. And we're going to start to like fill in some of those seasons. I'm like, we'll do that in the other shows. I'm just like, you got all these other sub-series coming. I'm like, and that's where we got to the end of this season and they're like, all right, here's your plot of land. He's going to train in the Mandalorian ways. You're a bounty hunter by trade, but now you want to do it in a more earnest way. You're working for the New Republic. Great setup. I'm so excited for that season.
Right.
I just kind of feel like it was just a lot of wheel spinning to get there, honestly. Yeah. Like, we didn't accomplish that much this season, and there's some fun stuff. There's some great space battles.
We got rid of Moff Gideon?
He's not dead. You didn't show it to me. He's not fucking dead. I don't buy it. I don't fucking buy it. I also, that's another one where I'm just like, what? And not, Moff is a show only character, but I'm kind of like, I still don't know if I like fully get like what he wants, and I don't care because I'm like, again, the big story, like what's going on in the game, like I don't really give a shit about that stuff in the context of this show. I'm like, again, Andor got into like the minutia of the rebellion, and it's the best fucking Star Wars thing we've ever gotten. But I don't want Mandalorian to suddenly trying to be juggling. I don't want it to turn into Game of Thrones, honestly. I don't, where it's like, oh, okay, well, we've got the Mandalorians on this planet, but Din's over here, and so he's on one of it. Like, I'm like, keep it focused on them, and if we're doing all this other stuff, do it in the other shows. I don't know. I felt like we lost the plot a little bit in shifting over to focus on this bigger plot, and that's just my natural aversion to, can you just let the Star Wars thing just like, can it just be its own thing? Does it have to connect into the greater narrative and like this other stuff we know? And granted, I'm sitting here saying that, and it's like, that's exactly what Andor is. It's like, we're going to take this little sliver and we're just going to like drill down and give you a bunch of detail on it. But again, it's just being done so impeccable at such a high level.
But and it's also
like
being done at a pivotal moment you've never seen before, because that was my favorite thing about Andor, was that like, oh, this is exactly how it starts. Like, you don't, when you're thrust into Star Wars in 1977, you just know Empire bad, Rebels good. You don't know how we got there. So them being able to put that in there, it's no perfect, and I feel like it hits on all levels. The thing about this season that I appreciated was that, yes, it did take some time to get to building that, but you also saw like things that he had done in the past, he fixed to allow him to do other things. Like, he took his helmet off in front of people to say goodbye to the child, quote unquote. Okay? Big no. That's him forsaking everything he's done his entire life, his creed. What does he have to do? He has to bathe in the waters of this planet to do so, to become what he feels is right again, what he's gotten his, foundling whatever into, right? So he finishes that. But in doing so, he also realizes, you know what? Like, we are all better when we're together. So there's got to be a way to like make all this work. She got kicked out of her people. I kind of got kicked out of my people. Can we not bring them all together and go back to this place where we were? Because, even though we don't know exactly what happened, we haven't seen it. We just know it got fucked up by the Empire, but it's not as bad as people think. It's not cursed. We have a home here. Okay, great. And again, super excited, like you said, because Carl Weathers is like, hey, come chill here. Oh, you want to work for these dudes? Yeah. Oh, do it under the books? Great.
I mean,
Let's get right to it.
Literally, like, you finished your quest line, and now here's your here's your reward.
Exactly. And again, if the next season is giving me like, episode of the week more like the first and two, where you're like getting on these bounties and stuff, that's perfectly fine. And if you want to tie it into,
because I think Ahsoka and like some of the other shows that are coming along that are in this same time span are going to start to, and Ahsoka looks really good, by the way. But yeah, I was just saying, I think it was a little bit of a step down in terms of my excitement level week to week, where it was more like, oh yeah, new Mando, cool. But and nowhere near some of the highs of season 2, if I'm being completely honest.
I mean, I appreciate Christopher Lloyd, and Jack Black, and Lizzo, and like
I enjoyed all the cameos, absolutely.
Have you seen the meme of like, it's Christopher Lloyd in The Mandalorian, and then it's a picture of Back to the Future. It's like Christopher Lloyd,
I have seen
a man in the DeLorean. It's ridiculous.
Yes.
I only have other one I would recommend just because I thought it was good. Apple TV, Shrinking.
That is the Harrison Ford, Jason Segel show?
Yes.
When I reactivate mine, I will give it a spin. One last one that I will throw in, Kunk on Earth on Netflix. Very fun British mockumentary series.
Yes.
With the character Philomena Kunk.
I watched 2 episodes.
It's great. There's only 5.
It's so
new. Yeah. So fucking stupid, but so funny.
Yes, that's my yes.
Yes. So I'll just throw these out here real quick as we're wrapping up. Shows that are on my list to get to. Now that I have Peacock, I had to jump into Mrs. Davis Day 1, but I want to go circle back for Poker Face, the Ryan Johnson, Natasha Lyonne detective series, which I heard incredible things about and has completely aired. I'm sure will be on a lot of people's year-end list possibly, so I need to catch back up on that. The other one, have not started yet, Dead Ringers on Amazon Prime, a new reimagining of the David Cronenberg film.
Oh yeah, I saw that started.
This time starring twin female gynecologist, played by Rachel Weisz instead of Jeremy Irons, and it's updated, it's modern, obviously, and it seems like it's I don't know. Again, what a weird era of IP. That's a show that got made. I'm like, yeah, we all know the beloved classic Dead Ringers. Nobody talks about Dead Ringers.
Do you think there should be?
It's not even like in the top 5 most beloved Cronenberg movies. It's just weird to me that. But
do you think there deserves to be a True Life series?
Dude, the fact that that's happening too, and Cameron's a producer on it, which I'm sure just means like he gets paid $1 million every episode, probably way more than that. But yes, I don't know. Big question mark, but I do love Rachel Weisz. I don't know about the creatives on that one. I don't know who's involved. And then 2 that are just on the horizon that come out within the next month or so. We get I Think You Should Leave, season 3.
Mm-hmm.
And for fans of our Primal Pod and Cast series with myself and Mr. Michael Chappelle, Unicorn Warriors Eternal from Mr. Jindy Tartakovsky will be premiering, I believe that's May 5th on Adult Swim. So stay tuned for that. I'm not doing like week-to-week coverage of it or anything, but it looks super fun. Kind of like a, I don't know, it's like a fantasy steampunk like hybrid sort of thing. It looks really, really neat. And obviously this one's actually going to have dialogue and, going to be different. And we also know that Primal Season 3 is coming, or the new incarnation of Primal. Very excited about that. Okay, Gavin's got to get home. We're going to wrap this up. That was our attempt at wrapping up some TV for the time being. We will check back in with all of these shows and I'm sure add more to the list. It is that pre-Emmy season when everything is dropping. If you have any shows that we did not mention that we should be checking out, please let us know. You can reach us on... fuck all the social media stuff. You know where to find us. You can email thearkofe@gmail.com if you would like to have anything read on the pod next week. Okay, stick around. I don't know what we're doing next week. Maybe more TV. Maybe we'll have a review of something. Somebody still needs to watch John Wick 4.
Yeah, I need to go check that out.
Maybe check out Beau is Afraid while you're there. Maybe a 5-hour double feature. Or excuse me, that would be... Holy shit. That would be damn near 6 hours of the movies if you did Wick.
And what's the other one?
Wick and Beau is Afraid. They're both 3 hours.
What's Beau is Afraid as well?
We'll talk about it off mic.
Okay.
We gotta go.
Okay.
All right. Until next time, I've been Noah.
And I've been Gavin.
We've been the Blanchard Brothers, and you've been listening to the ARK of E podcast.
That's entertaining.